Hey, welcome to today's lesson. This week is all about balance, balancing the body. So today's lesson, we're talking about adaptogens and adaptogens and balancing stress hormones. So in order to balance stress hormones, particularly cortisol, which plays a key role in managing inflammation because of the direct connection between chronic stress and the body's inflammatory response. Okay, so here's how it works. Cortisol, which is the primary stress hormone, has anti-inflammatory effects in short bursts. So you see this in acute stress or in response to an injury. So when balanced, cortisol actually helps to regulate immune function, reducing excess inflammation, and promotes healing. When we've got chronic stress, cortisol, there's a dysregulation in cortisol. So when we've got that chronic stress, the body might produce too much or too little cortisol over time. So this leads to imbalances that disrupt its regulatory effect on inflammation. So when cortisol levels remain high, immune cells become less responsive to it, right? So it leads to unchecked inflammation of chronic inflammation conditions. We don't want that to happen. So prolonged cortisol imbalance can lead to suppressed immune function, so making the body even more vulnerable to infection, to disease, and it can lead to systemic low-grade inflammation that contributes to health issues like arthritis, cardiovascular disease, and autoimmune conditions. So chronic stress can also cause an increase in pro-inflammatory cytokines, which we've talked about before, proteins that signal inflammation, leading to a pro-inflammatory state. So balanced cortisol helps keep these cytokines in check, so it prevents excessive inflammation. Okay, so there is also that gut health connection, which we've talked about before. So really, we want to balance these stress hormones. This will allow that cortisol to perform its natural anti-inflammatory functions effectively, which reduces chronic inflammation and supports long-term health. Okay, so I know we hear the word cortisol and everyone's like, oh, cortisol is bad. It's actually not. It's there for a reason. We just want to make sure that the levels are at the appropriate levels, are at the appropriate spot. So when we look at adaptogens, which again, we hear that word, I'm not sure what it is. Adaptogens are herbs and natural substances that can help the body adapt to stress, reduce inflammation by balancing the cortisol and other stress-related hormones. So here's a list of a few of them. We've got ashwagandha, which is one that you can find anywhere. This one really helps reduce stress and anxiety by lowering those cortisol levels, potentially easing inflammation, which is good. Rhodiola rosea is another one. So it's known for improving mental clarity and reducing mental fatigue. It can also help regulate those cortisol levels as well. Holy basil is a nice one to make a tea with. Has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, so that helps manage stress and prevents against oxidative damage, which is good. Ginseng is another one, supports adrenal glands and immune system, helps the body adapt to stress and reduce inflammation. Turmeric or curcumin, great one, really, we all should be adding this one in. You can sprinkle turmeric on everything. It doesn't really have much of a flavor, just turns everything a nice bright yellow. So throw this on your food. Really doesn't, like I said, does not have a flavor, or if you don't want to do that, you can buy curcumin or turmeric in capsules, easy to take. Actually, I've got a good recipe for a turmeric, it's called turmeric milk tea, or I can't remember. I'll put it in the recipe section when we're done here. So turmeric, it's not really a traditional adaptogen, really, it's just an herb, but it's got major anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that are beneficial in reducing, again, more inflammation and chronic stress. Licorice root is another one. It's a great one. Easy to find at health food stores. Sometimes even at the grocery store you can find it. It helps with adrenal function, sustained energy levels, and really, again, useful in managing stress and balancing your cortisol. Maca root, so not matcha, maca, M-A-C-A, root. A lot of times it's used for hormonal balance, and it can help us with stress reduction and increase energy. Sorry, I still have that frog in my throat. So those really are the top ones there, but each adaptogen works a little bit differently. So, you know, try one, see how you feel, and, you know, you can kind of personalize, you know, certain ones that may give you more energy. You don't want necessarily to be taking those in the evening or making a tea with that in the evening. You want those maybe perhaps in the morning or maybe in the afternoon when you've got a little bit of lull. And yeah, let's try to get that cortisol leveled out, and trying to get those the inflammation under control, especially if it's having some stress. Let's get the stress down, cortisol levels level, and then we'll be good to go. That's it for today. Have a good one. We'll chat again soon.